Today is a very grey, gloomy, rainy day and it is giving me all of the cozy vibes. I thought this was the perfect time to talk about some books. Make some strawberry and chocolate scones because that sounds incredible. Oh, they look so good. Nothing says cozy period drama in spring like Jane Austen. I love doing these things anyway, but it makes it even more special to know that I'm sharing it with a friend. It's called lion's mane.
Which is a type of mushroom. Okay, yeah.
Where do you
Like, is that legal?
Coffee.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Should I be drinking
Straight
with?
from the zoo.
Well, yeah, it's like trimmings from the zoo. To help you connect your mind with its potential.
But I made a little bit too much to put milk in, and you like it was black.
Yeah, you can really taste the mushroom.
Can you? Not immediately.
It sneaks up on you.
I think it would be nice with milk in it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some oat milk and maybe a little sugar. I don't hate it.
I don't love it.
But then I quite often feel like I have to acclimatise to new coffee. Yeah, I've made myself toast. I'm gonna have some jam. And that should cover up the taste. Good morning friends, welcome here or welcome back to another video. I have swapped out my drink of choice this morning. You saw me and George trying a new coffee which was blended with lion's mane, which I'm sure quite a lot of you will have heard of or tried, but it's a type of mushroom which is supposed to help with focus and things like that, but I'm not sure about the taste. Maybe I just need to get used to it a little bit. I'm not sure, but I've switched it out for a fresh steaming cup of peppermint tea, and I think it's just cool enough to take the first sip. I've just taken the tea bag out. It's been steeping for 7 or 8 minutes, I think, just while I got ready, which is why I'm hopefully looking a little bit more presentable than first thing in my pajamas with my unbrushed hair. Perfect. Anyway, today is a very grey, gloomy, rainy day, and it is giving me all of the cozy vibes, and I plan to really capitalize on that today. Here in Manchester, I don't think it's actually rained until today for over a month, and as soon as it started raining last night, I just felt like my body was just breathing a sigh of relief. Obviously, we love the sunshine, I love how happy it makes me feel, but we really needed the rain, and it just feels incredible, and the air smells amazing. It's just full of petrichor. Petrichor is one of my all-time favorite words. I'm sure, again, most of you know what it means, but if you don't, petrichor is the term used to describe the smell after it rains, that really fresh, earthy, beautiful scent. So I'm feeling very, very cozy today. It also feels a little bit autumnal almost because it's a lot cooler. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. So I've had a really lovely, relaxed morning. I tried some lilac jam that my friend gave me on my homemade bread, and it was delicious. And I also finished reading Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This was a reread for me. I just finished reading a book, and I'm about to start a new book that I need to read for book club, but I needed sort of like a palette cleanser between the two. And a bit later in the video, I'm gonna talk a bit more about books I've been reading and enjoying lately, but I finished Half a Soul this morning, and I've read this book once before, and I read it again, and so many things I didn't pick up on the first time. It's such a heartwarming, gorgeous read, and I think it's perfect for spring and into summertime. I mean, you could read this any time of year, but it's set in Regency England. There's lots of fairy magic in it, and a very endearing kind of two main characters as well. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it as a reread as well, and I'm sure I'll continue to reread it throughout the years. But yes, today is going to be a very, very cozy at home kind of day. I feel like I'm in dire need of that this week. It's been really overstimulating this week. I felt very bamboozled by the week, and yesterday I did just take the day for myself, which felt really good, but today I want to spend it doing hobbies and little things that make me feel really good. First of which is that I've got dressed and I've put a bit of makeup on and I've done my hair, I've had some breakfast, and I've done some reading, and I plan to do a bit more reading later today as well. I'm also thinking I might like to do some baking and perhaps go for a little bit of a rainy walk. I'm not sure. We will see where the day takes us. I'm going to just listen to my body and see what I feel like getting up to. I would also actually really like to do some like playing about in my sketchbook and maybe watch a movie at the same time. I was thinking yesterday that that would be a really lovely way to spend my afternoon today. But yes, it is going to be a very, very cozy, at home, relaxed day today, and I would love it if you joined me. So go ahead and make yourself a cup of tea of choice, or coffee, or water, or any other drink that your heart desires. Peppermint tea is one I will always recommend though. And let's settle in for a very, very cozy day together. I will also say as well that I am loving how autumnal it feels, even though we're not even in summer yet, but it's making me so excited for all of the seasons to come. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day. The hair is up, a raincoat is on. There seems to be a little bit of a break in the rain. It looks very blustery and cloudy, and it probably will rain a little bit, but it's probably the best part of the day. So I've decided to go for a little walk and try and get some fresh air. So I'm going to go and enjoy a lovely little walk, and then by the time I get home it will actually probably be lunchtime, and I'm going to make a really delicious, heartwarming, cozy lunch for me and George using some leftovers. So let's go for a lovely little walk and go and see the aftermath of the rain in the park. So good. And I just saw a kingfisher, which I didn't manage to get on film, but refreshing walk, but I am now very ready for a spot of lunch. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got a lovely creamy butterbean leftover concoction, and I'm going to go see if George wants to eat lunch now with me. George,
Yeah.
Are you ready for lunch?
Yeah.
Yay. There's something about a really overcast day when it's been so sunny for so long that just feels like you're being wrapped up in the clouds. It just feels so cozy. Anyway, lunch was delicious. We've just tidied up. George has actually just headed off into work. I don't know if my tripod is in shot. Let's move that out of the way. But yeah, I now have the afternoon to myself, which I'm actually quite excited about. Obviously, I love spending time with George, but I do really like when I get the flat to myself. It just feels a little bit different. I'm sure many of you can relate, especially if you're introverted too. But yes, I am trying to decide what I want to do first. I think it makes the most sense to do baking now so that it can have time to cool before this afternoon. It's currently about 2:30, so it would be nice to have a sweet treat to enjoy around like 3:30, 4 o'clock with a cup of tea, because what I really want to do this afternoon is read, and I have got a stack of books to go through with you, but I thought we could chat about books when our baked goods are in the oven. So now's probably a good time to explain what I'd like to bake today. So I picked up a punnet of strawberries really cheaply in the supermarket the other day, and I thought it'd be really nice to make strawberry scones. I haven't made scones for a while. They're always delicious, and I've never tried really with fresh fruit. I've done dried fruit before, so I'm just going to make up the recipe. And I also think we've got some chocolate chips laying around, so I'm thinking make some strawberry and chocolate scones, because that sounds incredible and is the perfect mix of a warm cozy treat and looking forward to the summer months with strawberries, which is so exciting. I love strawberries. I love strawberry season. So I think I'm going to do that. and then that will be all ready to enjoy after we've talked about books. So let's make our way to the kitchen. First things first, pinny on. I feel like we're spending a lot of time in the kitchen today. It's a cozy day, so it makes perfect sense. A lot of the like basic recipes for cakes and baked goods, I know them quite well. Like I know a rough recipe off by hand, off by heart even. But scones are the ones that I just seem to not be able to keep in my head. But luckily I have this lovely Book of Scones book by the National Trust. So I'm going to try and find a base recipe for it. I've actually just opened it onto the perfect pages, I think. There's plain scones or fruit scones. I think the difference is if it's got sugar. Do we need sugar? Probably don't need sugar, to be honest, if we're adding chocolate. Let's see, is anything else different? Okay, I'm gonna go with the plain scone recipe, which is 350 grams of self-raising flour, 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of lard, but I don't eat lard, so I'm going to do 100 grams of butter, and then 100 to 115 mils of milk. Nice and simple. I'm going to create a makeshift recipe holder. Okay, let's get the ingredients. So good, but I just remembered that I have sprinkles and that I also have free will, so I'm gonna put some sprinkles on top. It's starting to smell absolutely scrumptious in here. Apologies if the oven is a little bit noisy in the background, but I thought this was the perfect time to talk about some books that I've been reading and really enjoying recently. I don't have every single book with me. One of them is an audiobook and another one I actually lent to my mum because I thought that she would enjoy it. But yeah, let's talk about some books, because I feel like although I've been feeling a little bit in a reading slump, I've also really been enjoying what I've been reading. And actually, I don't know whether I would consider it a proper reading slump. I just feel like I've been reading very slowly and I've not been reading as often as I would like. But moving on, the books I've read I have really enjoyed. So as I was saying earlier, my most recent finish is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I touched on this earlier, but if you like fae, if you like Regency romance, and if you like really endearing characters that are just a little bit different from the norm, I think you'll enjoy this. It's very whimsical and light-hearted, and it's not spicy at all, but it's still very romantic. So I really like this. I've read it twice now, and I am sure I'm going to reread it in the future. And then the next book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I don't have to hand, and that is, I've written all the books down so I don't forget their names and who they're by. The next book is Under a Dancing Star by Laura Wood, which is a historical romance. It's a YA fiction, so it's really I don't know, it just has that really like tender, nostalgic aspect of youth to it, but it's set in the, I think it's the 1930s, and it's set mostly in Italy. It follows our protagonist, Bea, I think. Gosh, I hope that's her name. I read it a few weeks ago and I've already forgotten her name, but I'm pretty sure it's Bea. If it's not, I'll put it on the screen what it is. I'm rambling. Anyway, she doesn't really fit in with her English family, and they are trying to kind of marry her off and find her a husband, and so they send her to live with her uncle who lives in Italy, thinking that her uncle is this very well-to-do, very proper English man. And then when she arrives, it quickly transpires that he is married, or is engaged to marry, a very bohemian Italian wife who's absolutely lovely, and at present their house, their villa, is inhabited by a group of artists. And the book basically follows her trying to find her place and kind of becoming her own person, understanding some of the political things that are going on in Europe at the time. Obviously 1930s in Italy, lots to talk about there. And it is an aspect of the book, that kind of historical element, and it does touch on it in a way that doesn't feel like it's shoving it under the carpet, but also the book is very much focused on her as a character and her development into a young woman. And yeah, it was just really, really lovely. Definitely a book I would recommend for warm weather. I read it when we had a little bit of a heat wave, and if you're a seasonal reader, I would recommend waiting until it's a bit warmer as well. But I really, really enjoy it. It's a really, really beautiful kind of coming of age story. It has a lovely romance in it, and it's just very tender and lovely. Next book I read was actually an audiobook, and that was A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I touched on this in a previous video and a couple of you sounded interested. I thought it was a really good time. It's a vampire book, really, but it's set in this alternate world where vampires and humans kind of coexist, but not really, and they kind of have their own societies. It reminded me a lot of, and this is going to sound bad, I didn't actually read the books, but I've seen the TV show for Shadow and Bone, and the vibe of this book very much reminded me of the I think it's Six of Crows is the book, but that kind of gang within that series, very, very similar kind of vibes. But it's been such a long time since I've read a book with vampires in it at all, so it really took me back to being like a young teenager and just like tearing through really kind of silly vampire novels. So I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'll read the sequel or listen to the sequel, but it was a fun time and I enjoyed it nonetheless. And then the next book I have to talk about is one which you all probably saw coming. That is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the third book in the ACOTAR series. Obviously I'm not going to talk about this too much because spoilers, and I also think most of you, if you're going to read this, have probably already read it. A really chunky romp, spicy, which every single book I read it gets spicier, and I'm still surprised and I don't know why, but I am. It was a really fun time though nonetheless, very action-packed, but still has this kind of, I don't know why I think this. Oh, that's the timer for the scones. Bear with me while I take them out the oven. In fact, I'll take you with me. Come. Ooh, they look so good. I think they're ready. Let's take them out. Oh, they smell so good. Turn that off. Let me show you. Look at them. Oh, they look so good. They look so good. This one especially. Oh, but actually, no, look at that. Look at the, oh yeah. That looks so good. Okay, and we're back. I can't remember where I was now. I'm so excited about our delicious sweet treat. They smell amazing. I wish I could share them with you, but sorry. It just means you'll have to make your own. Okay, where was I? We were talking about A Court of Wings and Ruin. What was I saying? I was saying how much I enjoyed it, I think, and that it was very action-packed. Some parts of it felt a little bit repetitive, but it's a good time. I think regardless of how many like trigger warnings and things are in this book, and they absolutely should be, it still has this kind of like frivolity to it. It's very much a book that I read for pleasure and not for plot or anything else. I don't feel like I'm like learning anything when I read a book like this, but I do feel like I'm going on an adventure and I'm getting to know characters and I'm just having a really bloody good time. I'm just having a lot of fun, and so I'm really glad I finished this. I think this is technically the end to this trilogy, and then there's 2 more books that follow it, but the next book is set in the winter time, so I'm gonna wait and read that in the winter time if I can wait that long, because I do really want to read the 5th book, because I believe it follows a different main character perspective. Yeah, and I think those are all the books that I have read up until now. Any other books that I read in the previous 2 months, in April and March, I started doing short form monthly reading wrap-ups, which you guys seem to like, and I enjoy doing them. They're a lot less pressure, but I still get to talk about books and share what I'm reading, which is really nice. So I will link, can you link short videos? If I can, I'll link them on the screen. Anyway, that means now that I have finished all these books, even though I only have 2 to show for it right here in physical copy, I need to pick a new book to read this afternoon, and obviously for the rest of the week. And I have 2 options, and I really can't make my mind up right now. They're 2 very, very different options as well. So basically, the book I'm meant to be reading next, and I say meant to because it's the book club pick that I'm a part of, and the reason that I read Half a Soul is because I felt like I needed a palate cleanser between A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is obviously this fantasy romp, to then go and read Butter, which is a very popular book at the moment. This is by Asako Yuzuki. This is a book that I've heard a lot about, but strangely still don't really know. I believe it's about a murderer or someone who's committed some sort of terrible crime who has refused to be interviewed by anybody about why they did it, but they used to be a chef. And so when a food critic, a food journalist, sorry, I think I just found scone mixture in my hair. When a food critic asks to interview her, she says yes. And I believe it's kind of a book about food. It's a thriller, and I think it also probably touches on some interesting context and kind of thinking about, sorry, my brain's just died a little bit then. I believe it focuses on these 2 women and the lives they've led and why they've done the things they've done, and I'm reading the back of the book now to see if I got any of that right. That makes that sound very exciting. That sounds very thrilling, and then the other one is a complete other end of the spectrum, and it's purely because it's feeling so cozy and autumnal today, and I believe it's meant to stay like this for the remainder of this week, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore, which I did not read, I think 2 years ago when it came out. And so many of you have recommended this series in general, but I do want to read it in the correct order because I feel like they're kind of standalone books, but they're also not standalone books. So I have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I was kind of leaning towards this beforehand because, as you can see, I'm in my cozy era, but after reading the blurb for Butter, I think the book I'm supposed to read and the book I want to read are aligning for once, which is very exciting. So I think I am going to sit down in a little bit and open and start reading Butter. Obviously, I will let you know my thoughts. I've been rambling, so I'm gonna go pop these books away, tidy up a little bit of the mess in the kitchen because I have just left all the washing up to do, And then I believe it will be sweet treat, cup of tea o'clock for the book. So I'll see you then.
Rainy days don't seem so wet. Stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Talk for hours and never slept. Two silhouettes on the concrete steps. We watched the sun as it slowly crept from the horizon to the place we met. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
Oh friends, it is so much later and it is currently pouring down with rain, which sounds so soothing and calming and just incredible. I actually just went outside. Full transparency, the rainy clips were taken just now. Any of the really, really rainy clips. I missed the rain this morning when I had my camera. So I took a bunch of them now and I've just popped them throughout the video for the general ambience, because that's how it's felt today. But yeah, I came back in and I was quite chilly. So I've just cozied up in my pajamas. Dressing gown is on. Full pajama mode has been achieved and I'm feeling amazing about that. Again, more transparency. I only got about 10 pages into butter before I thought, let me import all this footage. And then as soon as I see footage, I just want to start editing. So I have edited for a little bit. I've had my dinner and I've read a little bit of butter. I don't think I've read enough to have any formed opinions so far, but I like the way that she writes. And I've already come up with one thing that I think I might struggle with, and that is that the main character's name and her best friend's name are incredibly similar. Needless to say, it's been quite confusing. So I'm sure once I've read a bit more, it will stick a bit better in my mind. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, but I don't have anything to share with you about it just yet. For right now though, I am getting to the part of the evening where I just want to really kind of turn my brain off a little bit. So I'm thinking that I might watch a movie, and I have had a hankering to watch Emma for quite some time. I'm really craving a cozy period drama, and nothing says cozy period drama in spring like Jane Austen. And I really want to watch the adaptation with Anya Taylor-Joy. I saw it a few years ago and I really liked it, so I think I want to watch that this evening. And I think that that sounds like the perfect end to a very cozy rainy day. It is well and truly my bedtime. Emma is such a good film. I forgot how beautiful the set design was, and the costumes and the acting. It is just such a perfect spring and summer movie. I would highly recommend, if you haven't seen it already, to make some time to watch Emma. But as I said, it is most definitely my bedtime, although I am planning to try and read, if I can reach it. I am planning to read a few more pages of Butter before bed, but I may have to reread them to tomorrow because I don't know how much information is going to stay in my head. I had such a lovely, cozy, relaxing day today, and I just want to say thank you so much for spending it with me. Obviously I love doing these things anyway, but it makes it even more special to know that I'm sharing it with a friend. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are taking care of yourselves and doing something that makes you feel good and relaxed and calm and cozy. I know I use the word cozy too much, but I don't know what else to use. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Sweet dreams, friends. Take care, and I will see you very soon in another video. Goodbye.